In September 1942, the development for the TA-154 Mosquito had begun to create a fast, high-altitude aircraft to help stem the tide of Allied bomber offensives as well as to perform light bombing/attack missions. Initially, the TA-154 was designated as the TA-211. This plane was designed by the famous aircraft designer Kurt Tange and was slated to be an attacker bomber with several variants being introduced, these variants being the attacker bomber and also a heavy night fighter. The TA-154 was powered by the Junkers Jumo 211F, which was due to other planes coming out of production that had used this engine, and as such, Germany had extra engine production for aircraft to take advantage of. The TA-154 Mosquito was named as such in a sort of name recognition to the de Haviland Mosquito. Priority was initially given to the bomber variant, but was soon changed within a month in October 1942 to the fighter model, due to the increasing number of Allied bomber raids and the appearance of the new de Havilland Mosquito, for which this plane was actually named, and had also been wreaking havoc on German wartime production. An example of this is that in the first 600 bombing missions undertaken by the de Havilland Mosquito, only a single example was ever shot down. The TA-154 had the following specifications for the production payload carrying fighter A-1 model: a top speed of 650 kilometers per hour, a range of 1,365 kilometers to 1,860 kilometers, depending on if drop tanks were utilized, a service ceiling of 10,900 meters or 35,800 feet, an armament of two 20mm MG-151 cannons and two 30mm Mk-108 cannons. Additionally, the planned TA-154C variant had provisions for two 30mm Mk-108 Schrage music cannons for destroying bombers from underneath them. The TA-154 was in a development battle with the larger, more powerful HS-219, which was also more favored by many in the Luftwaffe. To this, as well as against the Ju-388, the TA-154 took its maiden flight on July 1st, 1943, and subsequently reached a top speed of nearly 700 kilometers per hour, and easily outperformed the other planes testing against it, these being the HS-219 and the Ju-388. This, however, was due to the fact that the TA-154 was not equipped with armaments and a radar, unlike the other planes that were. Once equipped with a proper payload, however, speed dropped considerably, down by about 70 kilometers per hour, which is one of the ultimate reasons why it was phased out of production, although not nearly the main reason. The TA-154 was admitted for serial production shortly thereafter. The HS-219 and Ju-388 also enjoyed small production runs as well, as both were deemed fit for duty in various roles. After the RAF had bombed a factory that produced the resin responsible for holding the plane together, otherwise known as Tego film, in June 1944, production on the TA-154 had stopped, leaving it as a limited production run aircraft. Other resins being produced at the time were simply not capable enough of holding the plane together and resulted in several accidents that ended with the destruction of the TA-154, typically on landing due to the weakened resin. Further, several issues with performance, such as lower than expected speeds, made it so that the TA-154 ended up being slated for just limited production anyways. This said, depending on the figures read, about 50 TA-154s ended up being produced, with the majority being in the A-1 variant, which served in the heavy fighter role. The destruction of the TA-154's production did not mark the end of the plane, however, as it was equipped to fly in at least two squadrons, and there were numerous attempts to make use of the planes without suitable resins, such as in the Mistel project and as a Polk destroyer or formation destroyer aircraft. These two variants were essentially utilized in the same way, albeit with somewhat different goals. The Mistel project was designed to have the TA-154 be mounted on top of another aircraft, in this case the Focke-Wulf 190, and used as a glide bomb for ground targets. They were typically loaded with explosives and left the parasite fighter to fly at high speeds towards the target, wherever that may have been. The Polkster variant was filled with fragmentation charges and amatol in the cockpit so that once the pilot guided the plane near enough to the middle of a bomber formation, the plane was set to explode, thus taking out several bombers at a time with hope for 6 or more at the cost of a single TA-154. The pilot was supposed to escape in time, but this never happened because any of the operational Mistel or Volksrestorer fighters were either destroyed or captured on the ground, and even still were likely destroyed by crews prior to capture. The history of the TA-154 Mosquito is an interesting and sordid one, primarily because it was largely developed as a solution to the British Mosquito, but could never quite make it to full production due to the RAF hampering the production of the materials needed for safe construction of the aircraft. One must wonder if the factory had never been destroyed and the TA-154 had been produced in larger numbers, if they would have been more of a thorn in the side of the Allies rather than just a curiosity that was hardly produced. That being said, thank you for watching my video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll be able to see more of my content as it rolls out. As always, this is Wild and Woolly Gaming. Not saying goodnight, just saying. See you all on the other side. Take care, guys.